Alright, Chapter 5, Detailed Requirements. General Organization Presentation, page side. The technical manual organization TM prepared for the corner for the chain with the show that described with the accurate with the appropriate detail with the operating regime with the direct support with the intermediate aviation general support with the depot main with the authorized with the material maintenance allocation chart with the operations and maintenance procedure that should be organized with the material maintenance allocation chart functional group of the presentation. Manual should be written with the with the corner with the target audience description provided with the contractor activity, technical content of the material included with the accurate to be easy to use. Standardized table of the page of the unless the requirements specifically exclude with the contract activity. The manual should be the vertical format of the page should be the standard with the maximum printing shall include all printed material with the text, the illustration, change of the bars, technical manual, the page number, etc. Standard page size with the files. Should the table 2 standard technical manual pages size with the 8.5 by 11 and 11.5 by 8.5 vertical and horizontal, and maximum printing agency is 7.25 by 9 or 9 by 7.25. The text for the double the column should be included with the gutter with between the columns approximately 1/4 inch wide. Other technical manual pages, the table 3 the list for the other authorized technical manual pages should be specified with the contracting activity style with the trim size with the format, maximum printing. You have pocket size 4.5 by 5.5 and 11. That's vertical and horizontal at 3/8 of an inch by 4.5 inch printing area and backwards. PCL pocketbook 5/8 of an inch by 6.5 by 9.5, which are both vertical, and 4 3/4 by 7 3/4. And the other one would be 5.5 by 8.5. And then 9.5 logbook 9.5 by 6.5 horizontal, 8.5 by 5.5 print maximum printing area, double 17 double standard 17 by 11 and horizontal only 15 3.25 by 9. No, the maximum printing area given in Table 3 shall be include all the printed matter for the text and illustration chain with the bars with the publication number, the page number, etc. for the text, which is the double column shall include a gutter between the columns of which for the approximately 1/4 inch wide. Volume 7, the number of the printed page exceed with the pocket TMs exceed with the 1500 page of the 750 sheet. The technical manual shall be divided into 2 volumes. Each volume shall not exceed 1500 page of the 750 sheets. Pocket technical manual 4 and by 5.5 or 5.5 or 4 and for the pocket TM manual volume shall not exceed 200 pages or 100 sheets. Margin data. Margin data use the header of the footer shall be played with outside of the air with the page view for the either narrative of the task of the full page tabular data with the full page illustration within the printing area. Dimension of the page of the app with the marginal data that consists of the change tab, number of the security classification figure, and the number of the title of the full page illustration. Include all the fold out page of the shall have the marginal data included with the page. Marginal data should be not overlaid with the headers and footers, but the complete headers and footers shall be included with all the pages except for the title block. See figure 3 for the example. Headers shall include with the technical manual center at the top of each of the page 551 and 552. Other for the information specified by the contract of the technical manual numbers for the pocket. TMs are not required for the regular text page, for the EG with required with the front and the back covers only. Security classification specified by the contract activity classified the TM of the prepared with the security classification mark with including those with the unclassified page with the shall be bold with the top center of each page and corner with the DOD form 52-2022M. This shall reflect the highest classification of the page with the fold out security with the classification shall be in boldface type. Placed 3/4 inch from the right hand edge of the repeated continuously to the left of the 4 inch of the space between each one. Footers of the footer should be included with the security classification mark with the anything of the page number for the other information specified by the contracting activity. Chains designated for the chains of the page of the chain designated should be located approximately 1/2 inch for the left of the page number, the same line with the chains of the 2-1. Security classification check classified manual with the security classification mark with include those for the unclassified pages shall be bold in the bottom of the center of each for the according to the DOD form 52-2022M and the shall be reflect with the highest classification of the page. The fold outs with the security classification should be shell and boldface type with the place in the 3/4 inch right hand edge of the repeat with the continuously left of the 4 inch of the space between each one. Footnotes of the text of the foot number of the footnotes of the text of the consecutive superior. The number to begin with 1 shall be the U of the numbering system shall be per chapter of identical footnotes shall not be repeated within the chapter. Footnotes should not be viewed with the same mandatory requirements. Footnotes should not be placed at the end of the chapter when they are referenced. All footnotes should be identified 5 space to the left of the margin, carrying out lines with the return of the left margin. Foot number should be separated with the footnote text provided 2 space, but there should be 1 inch horizontal rule placed at the bottom of the last page of the chapter, flush to the left of the 2 line spaces below with the text of the first footnote placed under the rule. Example would be C instead install this clean filter, and then the footnote number 1 would be for equipment, video, clutter, suppressor, filter located inside cabinet door. Text preparation, details, clarity, and language. For maximum clarity and usefulness they are consistent with the terminology organization within the same manual with the series manual with the U.S. government printing office style with shall be used as a general guideline for capitalization, punctuation, compound words with a numeral, in the text and spelling with the mechanical words with the etc. All essential information shall include either by a direct statement or by reference to technical content presented with a language free with a vague with an ambiguous term with a text shall be concise with the accurate with a simplified English. A technical term with a shall be defined directly either with their use of the glossary, quotation marks, the underlying shall not be used to emphasize with the further guidance, development, readable with the comprehension of the text of Military Standard 361-2. Now, neutral terms, the TM shall make no reference of the age, the sex, the race, national origin on use of the sex neutral terms except avoid using word person. Terms such as the midmanship of the workman considered sexual neutral terms used such as male or female connectors, pins, are acceptable. Art reference. Reference for the other documents information with the technical manual held with the minimum of the reference made within the TM shall include the necessary information for the example the entire chapter for the applicable only with the chapter number should be reference for the data is needed for the one with the more paragraph reference the paragraph number shall be made with the text shall be referred to for the only model with the type of the equipment covered by the manual facility the coverage modified with additional models with the type of the later data reference shall be held with a minimum consistent clarity. Basic number of the government specification chain of the contractor cannot assert the government specification number of the contractor shall record the information contracting activity furnishing complete information concerning the material composition, property, the character of the application, manufacturer specification number, etc. Note when the metric system used the equivalent conversion of the U.S. standard file with the in parentheses the requirements specifically excluded the contractor have to do with the U.S. measurement should be converted to metric measurement. Temperature readings of the calibrated with equipment if the other than Fahrenheit with equivalent of Fahrenheit shall be found in the paragraph with the temperature for the reference for the room temperature is given in degrees of Fahrenheit. For example, 78 degrees Fahrenheit with the distance of the instrument with the readings of the calibrated with the equipment. Am I reading too loud?
Alright. You sent me a thing that you wanted a graphics card.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait on. Alright, speed distance instrument readings are for the calibrated on the equipment. For example, 169.5 newtons, or would be 125 pound foot. 100 pound foot is 165 to 5 newtons. Trick. Switch position panel marking with exactly marked down with the equivalent of the however, some of the panel markings shall be spelled without one and they cannot be produced by the composing equivalent of the either the prepared with the manual such for the symbol of the yam and the infinite etc. Measure for the U.S. standard units for the ounces, pound with the gallons, inch of feet with the knife for the miles, except for the inch illustration instance where metric measures are required. Illustration figure number of the sheet and the number of the multi-sheet illustration apple for example the figure 4 1 sheet 105 with the reference shall be made along with the illustration same name the other volume of the same name with the reference of the figures of the in the another volume shall be not included with the volume number. Figure for the number and total of the figures first of all with the index number. For example, the figure 26 with the number 34 over the multiple reference of the paragraph with refer to the same figure. Only first reference shall indicate the figure of the number with the figure 481 to some of the air valve with the sum of the air valve figure 42 with its valve with the unsafety disc retainer 1 valve body 2 safety disc 3 safety disc washer 4 valve body 2. Alright, when the index number of the continue with the sequence of the proceed with the requirement of the two or more pages of the figure number of the file with the day after the word with the continue shall be repeated after the first reference of the seating page with the two with the most figure within involved with the same sequence with the proceed with the number of the tab of the figure greater number of the item shall be set with the described above the index number of the item. Remaining figures shall have the index number of the following with the figure number of the figure 5 3 5 with the 21 in such case with the paragraph leave within shall contain that statement is similar with the following. Item numbers are below with the refer to figure 3 4 unless otherwise indicated. Part of the diagram and enough of the description of the reference designated and identified by the item. For example, the resistor A6R11 with the parts that shall not be used and proceed with the narrative portion of the TM except for the essential identification. Table and table number, tables by table number. For example, the table 3-2 of the reference shall be made only with the table within the same manual, another volume of the same manual. Other supporting paragraph of the same manual with another volume of the same manual with the paragraph number, the step, the number, the page number, the include with the required with the reference of paragraph within another volume shall not be included with the volume number. Word paragraph, the subparagraph before the number shall be used with the example of the paragraph 4-3 with the duplication of the material within the manual shall be allowed for 2 pages to the left. The other subordinate page paragraph similar in primary paragraph that is above below. For example, subparagraph J and above. Any major division of the manual in upper or lowercase, for example, the volume 5, the chapter 6, the section 2, the appendix 3, of the table of the contents, glossary, index, and etc. The other publication number of the document, the table of the emitting date, pages, figure of the paragraph number, for the avoid duplication of the material, excluding the 2 pages of the information of the other document. 2 pages or less shall be repeated with the TM and reference shall be made only by publications easily available to allow you to authorize to the user level. Reference pending on the publication action shall not be made with the footnotes of the essential for the reference, explanation, comments of the other information. Series of the items filed with the following basic number of the series when all of the number of the series include, for example, the TM3 294 11 to 401 series includes all the technical number to being one of the 3 294 11 401 by the following is basically the number of the series without the data of the basic number that immediately followed with the layer of the C with the higher number of the example the 781 series that could include the 781A, KA, and etc. DOD forms 1570 with the series that can include the DA forms 1571, 75, 755, 757, or 1575, 1577, etc. Equipment names and nomenclature. Nomenclature of the term of the name should be considered with the meaning of the real of the part to live with the maintenance allocation chart of the other directly related meaning of the statement of the exact explain applicability with the individual item of the equipment that you for the specific share with the number of the box for the designation, model designation, similar identification such for the items one later equipment with the early serial with the number that should not be the national stock number shall be used the narrative portion of the TM, including the procedural step of the illustration. Illustration level the part of the number that shall be not use the procedural narrative portion of the TM except for the essential identification. The nomenclature for the deviation, unless requirement, if specifically excluded with the contracting activity, only approved with the name of the official name and nomenclature of the repair special tools listing shall be used if the non-official nomenclature common name is approved with the appropriate nomenclature for the crop reference listing shall be included with the TM of the military standard 361.6. Shortened version of the approved nomenclature cannot consider the deviations. Readability level, the detail of the cover to TM should be written with a reading grade level to provide with a contracting entity with a reading grade level to match with the capability of the manual user for the method to determine the reliability of the option over the military standard 361.2 with the suggested method to see also for the following paragraph of the detail of the abbreviation, acronym, symbol, the table, the warning, caution notes, icons, energy efficiency, environmental protection, covers, etc. Abbreviations and acronyms. First, you for the abbreviation acronym shall have them spelled out, complete with the abbreviation with the acronym in parentheses with immediately over the word with the phrase with the highly being abbreviated is an acronym. The first level of each of the word, capital letter. The elements of the acronym shall not be separated over the period. For example, the repair parts special tool list or RPSTL. An excellent rule to follow, which emanates out with a spell it out with abbreviation acronyms and there are except as word, radar, stunner, laser, etc. need not to be spelled out. Abbreviation acronyms shall be used according to the military standard 12, except for the abbreviations plural as S and positive possessive S's. If manual is prepared with the composing equivalent with it, cannot produce certain abbreviation symbols for the plus or minus for the plus or minus for the substitute symbols such as plus plus divided by negative or plus or minus may be used. New abbreviation acronym symbols shall not be a duplicate, though those presently listed in military standard 12 as possible. Whole non-standard abbreviation symbol excluded with the height of the electrostatic discharge and hardness critical process. Hardness critical process of the symbols and the icons should be explained with abbreviation paragraph chapter 1 of the technical military standard 361.6. Abbreviation either the figure of the table is not found with the text of the other portion of the TM shall be spelled out with a footnote applicable with the figure of the table. The metric symbol should be in accordance with the ASTM E380 86 and Institute of Electrical Engineers 94 945 84. Military terms are should be used the name of the according for the joint in publication 102. Any approved the dictionary glossing term Army military terms automatic electronic test checkout terminology. The term should be the automatic electronic test checkout shall be given the according for the military standard 1309. Using shall and should and may and will use the shall be used the may and will should be as follows. Shall, whenever the expressing a provision that is binding, should and may, whenever it is necessary to express the non-mandatory provision, will to express for the declaration purpose of the simple future term of the power of the mater will be supplied by the aircraft. Table and charts and the graph with reference over the other of the illustration, the drawing of the diagram, other information would be usable with the table and the graphs and charts and should be presented with the table chart for the graphs shall be designed so that they are easily understand the chart shall be presented with the table the figure of whichever is appropriate Most appropriate, the graph shall be considered. The illustration should be assigned and the figure number, the tabular material, the amount of the tabular information inserted that will not require referencing adjacent text should be included with the text without identifying the table of warning and a caution for the note. The warning and caution for the shall be received with the text which is applied with the notes shall be received with the following with the applicable text depending on the material to be highlighted. Warning and caution notes shall be contained with the procedural step of the note shall have the headers and numbered headers and warning caution notes shall be bold with the standard above with each of the warning caution or note with warning or caution note with the content of the two or more paragraph of the header. Warning or caution note shall be repeated with the above with each paragraph with all the lines of the warning caution note shall be identified with the 5 space for the character of both left and the right margins when the warnings caution and notes occur with the same text with the warning shall be appear with the first caution, second with the notes, with the last with the warning, caution with the notes shall be short with the concise with the use only with the emphasis of the important with the critical data with the warning, caution with the end shall be stated with the head of the result of the reason unless obvious for the figure 11, illustrated with the style with the warning and caution with the notes. Figure 385 381 has material warning icons whenever the warning is presented with the icon combination icon format should be used. The icon should be either be unapproved. List for the appendix A with a document with a shall be added with a chain with a specified approved with the contract activity icon. Single hazard icon should be defined with a warning summary with the figure 12. For example, the signal hazard icons are defined. See appendix A with approved listing with the signal hazard icon definitions. Hazard material warning format hazard material warning shall be listed with warning summary. See figure 12 with the shall be one of the completed printed with the hazard material. The warning shall not be repeated but elsewhere within the scale. General requirements are followed that every hazard material warning shall be kept the nomenclature for the hazard material of the head of the icon associated with the hazard material. Same nomenclature associated with the hazard icon. Use the warning summary shall be used with the text identified with the hazard associated with the hazard material. See figure 13. Hazard as a result of the combination materials shall be required separate warnings of the warning summary. Each substance of the warning shall be clearly indicate with the mixing combining with the materials creating the hazard. Detailed warning shall be listed alphabetical with the numerical hazard material. Detailed warning shall be provided with the text of the equipment perceived with the contribute to the hazard not relieve the use of the presence of the hazard material. Use the hazard warning. Head of the material warnings perceived with the text of the list they apply with the header of the warning shall not be required with the warning shall be consistent with the icon nomenclature for the hazard material. See figure 13. Health hazard procedures prescribed for the operation of the equipment consists of the safety standard established by the Occupational Safety Health Act of Public Law 91-596 with the Executive Order 121-91 with exposure for the hazard chemical with the verse of the health effect of the use of the equipment cannot be eliminated. Warnings that shall be used and or information shall be played with the warning summary list of the personal protective devices shall include the energy efficient requirement. The TMs covering the product with direct consuming the energy of the normal operation of the commonly method of expressing energy efficiency shall include the energy efficient rating of the equipment data of the table in Chapter 1. Environmental protection instruction used within transportation hazards or the disposal of the substance of the fuel toxic hazardous substance of the chemical ordnance of the munition to meet applicable requirements for the federal environmental protection has standards of the standards to be provided with the contracting activity, proprietary names, trade name, copyrighted name of the other proprietary name of the supplying with exclusive with the product with one company with the shall not be used unless the items can be adequately described with the technical involvement of the construction of the composition, such as the incident, or one of the possible several the commercial of the product with the shall include with the file by the number of the word equal with the same shall apply with the manufacturer of the part with the number of the drawing number of the minor parts where it is impractical to safety and specify the exact requirements insofar as the practical particular character of the requirement that shall be included with the defined and equal front cover. When placing information on the front cover space between the necessary items shall be shown the result of the attractive, well-balanced cover. The horizontal line 1 point shall be placed across the page just below the 1 TM number, the second just below the service number. Glacier C figure 14 military standard 361. 11 additional requirements when preparing the front cover. The prepare part special tool lift the front cover shall contain the minimum of the following: security classification when required for 5.7, the technical manual 5.3.12.1, technical manual title and through 5.3.13.1 through 5.3.13.1.3, national stock number for the item covered in 5.3.13.1.2, and the item code specified by the Army Master Data File 5.3.13.1.2. Subtitle when required 5.3.13.1.3. Illustration when required 5.3.13.2. Availability statement when required 5.3.13.3. Superseding notice revision only 5.3.13.4. Disclosure notice 5.3.13.5. Distribution statement as elected by Military Standard 1806 or SC 5.3.13.6. Export control notice 5.3.13.7. The destruction notice 5.3.13.8. Service nomenclature 5.3.13.9, change of the number to the date when required 5.6.1.1, and ticking TM date 5.3.13.10. Alright, 53131, technical manual title number. The technical manual title number should give the following items as appropriate to be provided with the contracting activity. There may be more than one technical manual. See figure 551. The item shall be located within shown figure 14 and 15. TM number, the header of the technical manual, the type of the manual, the operator instruction, instrument maintenance, the repair instruction, special tools and listing, maintenance level, the restrictive, the direct support, general support means, prime double official, the name of the name, nomenclature subtitle is applicable, the type of the technical manual, maintenance level, the type of the technical manual, operator, instruction, the maintenance with the repair, special tool listing, such provided by Navy by the contracting activity shall be placed beneath the technical manual header. Level of the maintenance also provided with the contracting activity as appropriate shall be placed within and beneath the manual type of the figure 15. The primary title of the nomenclature of the provided with the contracting activity, the equipment type of the model with the part number, so for the black serial number, the registration number, if the appropriate shall be positioned below the words identifying with the manual type of the maintenance level, the applicable with the national stock number, and the item code specified with the Army Master for data file with the identification of the equipment covered with the manual should indicate and then indicate with the classification to provide with the contracting activity. Equipment the nomenclature should be indicated with a UCS or specified with the DOD 52-2022M manual itself classified with the prime title should be the same level of the volume of the multi-volume set. For the department maintenance work with the requirements of the title shall be identified with the label with the by items number, the NSN, the end item code covered by the depot maintenance work record, which work is complete and may be turned into the supply separately with the figure 15. Subtitle, if applicable, the subtitle provided with the BI contracting have to be located immediately below the prime title, indicating the volume and number of the content of every separately bound volume of the TMC figure 8. Front cover equipment illustration and lift requirement of the specifically exclude with the contracting activity. Front cover shall contain the illustration of the equipment when required. Front cover shall include a line drawing of the equipment and item. The drawing shall be three-dimensional with the isometric or equal, clearly depicting pertinent components of the item in the illustration may precede the file with the end item of the nomenclature. Availability statement for the depot maintenance work with the requirements of only of the front cover that shall contain the following available. The statement of the publication is not available with the U.S. Army publication. Scenario that may be obtained with the insert of the name and the address of the proponent responsible. Figure 8. Supersedure notice when the manual or revision chain with the preparation, the supersede with the other manual with the proportion manual with the supersede with the note of the provide with the contracting activity shall be played with the front covers E figure 15. Applicable portion following shall be with the supersede with the note of the manual revision chain with the supersede with the insert with the applicable manual revision changes the number portion thereof and the date with the date supersede with the document disclosure notice with the unless requirement specifically excluded with the contracting activity following disclosure. Notice should be played on the front cover of the classified and unclassified manuals except for the distribution statement is in figure 14. The information furnished under the condition will not be released to another nation without specific authority with the Department of the Army with the United States. It will be the military purposes only with the individual cooperate with the rights originate with the information whether the patent or not will be respected. The recipient will report properly in the United States that any known suspected compromise of the information will be provided substantially with the same degree of security afforded to it by the Department of Defense of the United States, all regardless of the other marking of the document. It will not be downgraded, declassified without written approval of the originating United States agency. Distribution statement LTM shall have distribution statement played for the front cover. Each man with a supplemental revision contains see figure 15. The appropriate distribution statement is selected for the military standard 1806 should provide with the contracting activity selection from the military. The statement that shall incorporate the provision military standard 1806 with the requirements specifically excluded. Contracting activity distribution statement C shall be used. Export control notice when required with the provision military standard 1806 with the export with the control notice indicated with the warning shall be played for the front cover to provide with the contracting activity. Destructive notice ALTM is marked with a distribution statement that B, C, D, E, F, or X shall be marked with a destruction notice provided with a contracting activity DOD form 523024, see figure 15. So for the nomenclature headquarters Department of the Army shall be the center of the date of the centered above the date of the front cover of the TM date with the TM show the date with the shall the date with the last material included was received the copy free of the date with the provided with the contracting activity refer to figure 26 with the date of the month and year shall be given in the sequence. For example, the date, July, and then the month, and then the full 4-digit year. For Army CompuSec manuals, unless the requirements are completely excluded with the contracting activity classified, the technical manuals should contain notice for the official use only if they are placed above with a security classification on the bottom of the center of the cover of all manual pages. 541. Front and back matter. Matter consisting of the front cover and all the pages of the TM proceeding with the first text page for the Chapter 1 back matter include the DA Form 2028-2 authentication page and the cover. The front 541 front matter as applicable material proceeding with the first text page shall consist of the following order specified below. Front cover warning, summary change sheets, title blocks, reporting errors, recommended improvement, the table of contents, and how to use this mail. Front cover and title block. The technical manual shall have the front cover of the title block with a page of the title block page shall be the file with a warning summary with a change of the sheet with a, if any, see military standard 361. 11. Additional requirement of the preparing the front cover and title block page for the repair part special tool list. Information front cover of the title block with the page shall be identical except for the title block page shall be additional include the reporting area of the recommended improvement statement. May contain table of the contents tab of the table block page shall not include the equipment. Illustrate for the TMD shall include both of the title of the block page shall start on the right hand page. Reporting errors and recommended improvements. The reporting error of the recommended improvement is figure 16 that appear below with the title of the NSN and the code subtitle, if any, with the title block and page the address of the responsible proponent and ensure that the statement unclassified standard TM except for the classified TMs, oversized TMs, pocket size of the TMs with less than 8 pages. The following statement shall proceed with the table of contents include the reporting errors, recommended improvements. You can help with improvement of this manual, but you can find with the mistakes. If you have known and improve the procedure, please let us know. Mail your letter to DA Form 2028 recommended with the chain of the publication form to DA Form 2028-2 located in the back of this manual direct with the name and the address of the proponent and reply with the furnished to you. Pocket side of the TMs, oversight of the TMs, and TMs less than 8 pages of the pocket side with the oversight of the TMs and less than 8 pages. The following statement shall proceed with the table of contents title. Reporting errors, recommended improvements. You can help with improve this manual. You find with a mistake you know with them improve the procedure. Please let us know. Mail the letter to the DA Form 2028 with the recommended change of the publication blank form, direct name, and the address and proponent. Reply will furnish to you. Check classified TMs. Classified TMs following with a statement to proceed with the table of content title. Reporting errors, recommended improvement that you can help with improve the manual, but you can find with a mistake with the improve the manual with the right, with the tell us about it, as address the correspondent with the name of the message, address of the proponent, will deal with the classified information, make sure the correspondent properly with the mark, handle according to the AR 385. Warning summary including the first aid data. All TM containing warning and caution shall have the warning summary that shall include the first aid data with the warning summary shall appear with the inside with the front with the cover, the front cover, extend with the inside with the front with the cover. Warning summary shall appear on the page immediately after the front cover. The warnings cannot. Summarized inside of the cover shall be continued with the pages immediately thereafter. The pages shall be numbered the lowercase letter A, B, C, and etc. Warning summary should provide with you with the important warnings appear throughout the manual. Warnings should improve with the same hazards for the repeat with the shovel, the plate, for the red. Of the manual summary would appear only with the one to the warning summary, but the warning summary shall be not more than word for word repetition of all the warnings of this manual. Warning summary shall include all of the general type of the warning. Warning symbol will include the icons used within this manual. The warning symbol should include the general subject of the radiation, chemical, the voltage, gas pressure, laser, light, other hazards that may be encountered by the user. See figures 12, 17, and 18. Warning summary shall include the general precaution applicable to safety and health exposure for the technical manual. General safety precautions shall not be repeated with the text of the manual with the use of the safety class of the soldering or that of the soldering iron is hot as any of the electronics manual with example the general safety precautions to be repeated on the text. Soldering may not be every day of occurrence of the manual covering with the proper pillars. Therefore, warnings covering the related with the soldering technique shall be included with the text. In such cases, precautions shall be those with the concern with the common text and kind with the working with the equipment with the tab with the place for the warning caution within the text. For all technical manuals excluding operate with the warning summary they have with the first aid of the data with include with the reference to the field manual 2111. First aid data text is described in the first aid data not including field manual 2111, but it may not do with the danger within encounter with the equipment. For all technical manuals on weapons involving the use of ammunition, excluding the operator, the warning summary shall include with the reference to TM 9 1300 206. Later publication, any additional first aid instructions not included in the TM 9 1300 206. Need to ensure safety appropriate for the inclusion shall be described. Change 5413, change the sheet. The change of the loose leaf manual shall be included with the change sheet with which file with the warning summary with the format requirements. Table of contents listing with the chapter section, primary paragraph, same order with the exact titles used in the text and the page number. The reference should be required by all TMs, figure 19. When space permits, the table of the contents should begin with the title of the block with the below with the last item of the title block page. If the space does not permit, should begin with the next page of the table of the contents should contain with the data applicable to the specific manual with the security classification any or the chapter section of the paragraph title should be indicated with the chapter should be the table of the contents proceeding with the individual chain with the section. Each of the volume multi-volume manuals should contain the table of contents Reference companion volume of the CMTM. The volume 1 shall contain the table of the contents covering the entire set. In truth, shall indicate the volume of the reference of the material appear with the example of the operating instruction volume 1 combined with the narrative of the repair special tools list and manual that refer to the military standard 36111 for format requirement of the repair special tool list portion of the table of contents. How to use this manual information. How to use this manual information should be located after the table of contents. So before the first chapter of the TM, the table of how to use this manual should be over the sound of the top of the page. Information familiar with the use of the special, the unusual feature of this manual with the cover space shall be led to the use of the TM. Explain important feature of the organization content. How to use this manual information shall not repeat instructions given in this chapter. How to use this manual paragraph shall explain in the reference appendix A references. For all technical manuals, excluding operators, how to use this manual, the information shall include the reference for the associated repair part special tool list and explanation how to use the repair special tool list in conjunction with this manual. International standardization agreements will specify the contracting activity, how to use this manual, but they shall contain the following. Alright, note, certain provision of the technical manual is identified in the chapter section of the paragraph, similar manual with the appropriate with the subject of the international standard with this agreement with the insert with the ABCA, ASCC, and standard NATO STACNA, NETR, NEPR number, appropriate documented reference chain, revision, cancellation, technical manual proposed, modified the international agreement concerned with the technical manual management activity, appropriation activity, international standard channels, including department, jurisdiction, office with the change of the agreement and making the appropriate accommodations. Back matter is applicable to the material following with the last section of the page consists of the following reporting of the error of the recommended improvement of the DA Form 2028-2, the authentication of the back cover including metric conversion cart reporting errors, recommended improvements of the DA Form 2028-2, one filled out sample copy of the DA Form 2028-A figure 20 with the 3 blank data form DA Form 2028-2 with the TM number, the date, and with the title shall be included with the back of every unclassified TM except for the otherwise TM pocket side with TM or TM less than 8 pages of the filled out and sample included with the guidelines for the completing the form of the 3 blank copies shall be tear out with the forms pre-printed proponents addressed on the reverse side. Authentication page to provide with the contracting activity should be the last page of the technical manual military standard 361-8 with the illustration page. Back cover the outside of the back cover shall be blank except for the pocket with the TM. The pocket with TM is outside of the back cover shall include the technical manual number. Where applicable and metric conversion, table of conversion applicable to include the technical manual shall be placed inside the back cover. Technical manual numbering and sign of the numbers is provided with the contract institution of bold type located with this page of the specified with the 552 for the other segment, each for the fold-out page. If the manual jointly with the strip of the member with the prefix of the word of Air Force, the Air, Marine Corps, Navy Air is applicable to the activities of the TM number, the applicable sequence following the contract activity number. And the TM number location for all the TM numbers shall be with the bold-faced type of the right of the front cover page. For all TMs except for the pocket TM, the TMs also should be bold-faced with the same with the top of each of the page, top of the other segment. Each of the fold-out page pocket TM numbers shall appear on the front back of the cover only. The number shall be not changed with the change of the pages. See figure 3 and 15. Pagination. Page numbers for all TM pages with the numbers shown to be assigned with the bottom of the page, even the numbers included with the 0 should be assigned with the left-hand page with the order of the number of the right-hand page. Horizontal TM upper page shall have the even number, the lower page they have the odd number. The page number of the fold-out page should be placed with the lower outer edge of the outstanding margin with the number that will be visible with the pre-printed within the fold of the page number should be bold with the type. Front matter warning summary pages shall be numbered with the lowercase a, b, c with etc. Change sheet with the unnumbered of the first page of the title block should be unnumbered with any of the subsequent title block page of the table of the content type of the dismantle section change. Seeing chapter 1 shall be assigned by the subsequent lowercase Roman numerals beginning with the 2. Brief numeral first page of the brief numeral with the U of the abbreviated title below with the briefing beginning of the text page. Place the sign of the Arabic numeral 1. See figure 10. Numbering of the page, primary paragraph of the table, the page of the figure of the table, the chapter of the will be numbered consecutively with even in the chapter. Even the two-part Arabic numeral separated with a hyphen, and then primary paragraph the number with the two-part Arabic numeral separated by a period. First part shall be the chapter and the number of the second one, the part with the order with the chapter, and then the example. B. When a chapter starts with the full page of the illustration, proceed with the left-hand page with the blank of the illustration placed with the left-hand page. Page number the 0, for example, the 2, 0, 3, 0, etc. If the chapter shorting with the chapter with a complete with the one page permitting another chapter to start on the same page of the both the chapter numbers of the indicator of the page with the number of the example 3141 for numbers of the blank pages 5535 with the multi-sheet figures shall be consecutively sheet number to follow with the title For example, the figure 217 hydraulic assembly sheet 1 of 6. The remaining sheets shall be numbered with the consecutive order. Sheets 2 of 6, 3 of 6, and so forth. Blank page number to blank page shall be assigned by the number of the initial appear with the preceding the following page. For example, the page 10 of the chapter 10, 11, chapter 1 is blank with the page 9 shall have the number 1, 9, and 110 blank. If the page 9 of chapter 1 is blank, then page 10 shall be have the number 1, 9 blank 110. Also, with the applicable added with the 110 1 or shall show the 110 2 with is blank. Alright, deleted pages. When page number that continue with the broke with the deletion of the page blank page resolved with the same that indicate with the deletion of the page placed on the bottom of the margin of the preceding page. Margins succeeding the page, for example, the page deleted with the shall apply with the two back-to-back pages deleted with the same that shall be used only with the same manual came. The next preceding the succeeding page of the preceding the following page shall be changed merely to add the statement in such instance change with the listing while adequately. 5537 appendixes shall be identified with a bold capital letter. For example, appendix A, appendix B, etc. Appendix identifier shall be signed with a 2-line specific below manual number of each page. The appendix header shall be in the all bold capital little center of line 2 line below lines below. Appendix identified with the beginning of the page only with the page of the paragraph figure table. The appendix shall be simply numbered Arabic numbers preceding with a hyphen and capital letters of the appendix. And then give the example. Glossary page of the glossary should be consecutively numbered by the Arabic numbers, numerals in the word with the glossary hyphen preceding with the pages for glossary 1. Index page number of the index should be consecutively numbered the Arabic numbers with the word index hyphen preceding with the page from the index number 1. Alright, numbering added material. When paragraph of the figures, the table of the page of the add with the chain with the existing paragraph of the figure, the table of the page of the shall be renumbered above with the renumbering of the 10 items will affect with more than 5 pages of the following method shall be used except for the add with the ending of the sequence, which gave the noun consecutive numbers shall be the paragraph shall be the number of the addings uppercase of the alpha character. 24A and 24B and 241A, etc. For the preceding with the paragraph number, the adding figures table of the page should be multi-sheet figures numbered by adding decimal. For example, figure 311 or 3261 when it is necessary to be between the items that have already been added. Preceding method alpha characters shall be used, and pages shall not be added between right hand and left hand. The page of when new material is added with the right hand page of the overrun with which fits the query preceding the following with the left hand page. For example, the material is to be added with the right hand page. Adequate plague space available with the preceding left hand page. Material at the top of the page 2.5 shall be moved at the bottom of the page 2.4 with the new material of the page 2.5. Adding on page 2.5 of the already existing space with not adequate overrun with the left hand page following affected right hand page shall be placed on the added page. Index numbers. Changes. Where chain with the illustration the index number of the maybe existing number, the adding in the number of the shall be the same with the preceding index number added. Decimal number C military standard 361 11 index number chain with the prepared part special tool list. Alright, 5.6 change revision supplement. When specified by the contracting entity with the chain with the prepared with the chains consistent with the chain with the sheet with the chain page with the except for the silver screen, otherwise expense for the covers front cover of the title block page with the unclassified TM shall be uplifted, updated with the reflect with the current distribution statement. The chain of the package shall conform all style format. Basic TM shall incorporate all approved information. Example: the engineering change and proposal equipment alteration. Fuel change succession change shall incorporate resolution to outstanding deficiency. Copy shall be furnished both sides on which for the change is made. With the change is made only one side for the chain of the repair special tool list. See military standard 361.11. Number and date changes. Each chain with a manual will be numbered in sequence. Identification chain with the average for the revision manual beginning over again with the number 1 chain with the date unless the requirement specifically excludes contracting activity chain with the date with the shall be date with the one with the material as included was received. The copy of the free with the date with the provided with the contract activity change designated date is which shown on the front cover of the title of the block page and change sheet figure 21. Deleted paragraph step figure items tables when changed deletion paragraph steps substeps and figure item list table throughout substituting another space formerly occupied with a delete that may be used with the other instruction will allow sufficient to provide 1/4 inch above the below with the sentence with the paragraph 42 with the delete with the table the content of the alphabetic index shall be considered necessary. Change designator. Each of the page contains the admin material should be word of the chain with the place at the bottom of the same line with the page number, the dollar chain with the include with the fold out with the chain page with the chain with the designator approximately 1/2 inch with the left of the page number. Change designator requirement shall be applied to all the added pages that include with those placed at the end of the manual chain symbol, the text in the table Change of the text in the table to indicate with a 6 point with a vertical line with the opposite. Change with a delete with the added text with the as note with the subparagraph A through E with the low with the change bar. Should be laid with the margin opposite with the binding edge of the page with the material with the out with the margin with the double column material with the exemption of the page emergency block and with the block diagonal line with the egg arrow on 3 edge of the they still have change bar with the button along with the inner branching of the page widely material with the double column with the chain with the bar with the ply with the outside with the column placed within the guide between the columns of figure 222. Tables are chain with the head of the chain bar with the display within the left of the table the number of the title explanation the map with the view that include with the chain C. See figure 5, see also 554 through 555. Chain symbol to preview the chain to leave with this page with the subsequent chain with the symbol. Show up the current chain with the military stand 361.3 with the information concerning the change with the symbol. The illustration 6 point. Change may be reduced with 10% with the automatic composing equipment that provide with the retain remains legible and obvious. If the composing equipment incapable of reproducing the vertical line, another change of the symbol that is specified with the contracting activity. For example, the number sign plus sign. Back circle with a black circle with the letter C, X, R, meaning the 3 symbol shall be explained with the chain C with the chain symbol is not required. Introductory material index, tabular data change that cannot be identified. Blank set space resolve with the deletion of the text illustration part of the illustration on the table. D correction of minor inaccuracy, spelling with a punctuation, relocation from material, renumbering the paragraphs and left for the correct change of the remaining of the instructive information procedure, replace the addition with a complete chapter of the section, change of the sheet. Change the sheet loose leaf manual should be prepared with the format and in figure 21 chain with the sheet shall include the following statement: the TM number, the date with the change file with the 1. Move old pages enter the new page and indicate below. View the file, the sheet with the front of the manual with the reference. B for the first page of the H of the end of the additional page with the required applicable will indicate with the chain with the result of the equipment alteration. For example, the ORD ALT ordered alteration and if alteration number to include. Following statement applicable to the chain with the draft, the equipment and the modification do not incorporate the chain until the equipment is modified, include all of the instruction headers for the holders for the manual, the accomplishing the activity, incorporate the chains in their copy of the manual until verified by the alteration that has been accomplished, include the instruction over the holder and manual, incorporate the chain with a copy of the manual in addition with the explanation major changes of the equipment has been included with the exemption of the major chain of the manual, the region of the changes. Include the explanation of the entire change of the selection that has been replaced and added if applicable. We'll include explanation for the chain symbol to provide clear instructions that are required and chain with the listed page by page specified, deleted, revised, and added pages. Alright, revisions. When required for the contractor, revisions shall be prepared. Revisions shall incorporate the current information previously issued with the chain with existing manual, any other appropriate information. For example, means allocation charts or work orders, engineering drawing changes. When TM is revised, revisions are written last version specification standards shall be in accordance with the most current doctrine. The TM shall be verified in accordance with military standard 361.4. Renumbering, removal of the revision, all of the paragraphs and figures and tables renumbered if necessary. Eliminate all numbers, suffixes, the alpha characters, establish correct sequence. Revision shall be prepared with the current specification standard. All change with the number. Change the date. The net shall be removed from the pages. All partial pages with the miniature. Shading screen with the chain with the bars are the chain symbol is eliminated with the index number with the separate figure with the shell star with the elbow Arabic number 1 and continue with the consecutively. Alright, supplements. When required with the contract supplement, that shall be prepared and refer to 316 with the definition, shall with the confront with the style with the format existing manual with the title block page. Supplement shall contain with the cross reference the note with the basic manual with the distribution system with the basic manual shall be placed with the subtitle block page. See figure 23 and 24 supplement types will be specified with the contracting activity as follows: routine supplement, classified supplement, safety supplement, operational supplement. Classified supplement shall be contain the minimum amount of the information required for the particular security to maintain the continuity of the file with the contracting activity approval required with the classified equipment. Supplement. Safety supplement required safety supplement is filed with the text and lettering, remembering as such for safety supplement being read. Title block with the safety supplement, each of the red with the multi safety supplements along with the top of the bottom sideboard of the word safety supplement at the bottom of the page and the word safety supplement should be positioned above the technical manual with the nomenclature should be the same with the basic manual with the responsible notice shall be positioned. 423. Notice placed under the item of the supplement with the block of the reference of the basic manual supplement with the applicable reference of the application publication replaced and then show the application publications EM 9 12 30 61 34 dated 13 September 1989 with no change. The tab of the publication date will be the same as the copy freeze date. Security markings shall be the same as the other title and block pages. The operational support supplements, the detailed requirements for the operational supplement shown in Figure 24 shall be same formal safety supplements except for the margin shall consider the multiple operational supplements in lieu of safety supplements. Word operational supplement in lieu of safety supplement shall be printed in black. Routine supplements for the title block with the page will same with the operational supplement of the title block except for the title shall be in single word. Supplements page shall be in blank. Incorporation supplements into the manual. Whenever the practical supplements for the others higher classification shall be incorporated in the manual's next changes. Security classification. Overall security classification. Some of the TM shall agree with the higher of the security classification and the sum of the portion. Any portion within overall security classification should be played with the top of the bottom of the front cover of the title block of the page. Figure 14. Security classification markings according to the DOD 52, 20, 22, M 52, 101R. Quality assurances. Quality assurance of the quality control TM revision supplement change shall be recorded with military stand 3614. Packaging preparing for delivery TM and revision supplement changes shall be packaged in accordance with military stand 3615. Alright, chapter 6 notes. I'm going to cut the tape there.